So, Burna Boy, man. He's taking over everything.
He's the killer, man. He's a killer, bro.
Unreal. You go to every party. Yeah. Everybody. That shit shuts everything. They don't even play the rest of the song. They're like, that's it.
Yeah, bro. And it gets everybody turned. I mean, it's an unreal vibe. My little brother put me on. My little brother Emmanuel put me on, or Manny, as he likes to go by now.
That's my middle name. Shout out to
That's your middle name? Yeah, shout out to Manny.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. We call him E-Man. That's what I call him. But I guess his friends call him Manny now. But yeah, man, he put me on to that song. And I fell in love with Burna after that song. Listened to that album Outside. The whole album. Crazy. Like the first song on there is More Life. Unreal. He was actually on Drake's More Life album.
Yeah.
But he didn't get the credits on there. I don't know why. There was some back and forth about that. But anyway. But yeah, man, Burna was dope, bro. I actually saw Burna live, free show in Brooklyn.
I saw that.
I was right in the front too.
I didn't know.
Bro, it was unreal. I found it like by accident on Eventbrite. I'm like, no way. I pulled up that thing solo because it was last minute.
Yeah.
I went by myself, put on my Nigerian fit, went right to the front, my tall self, and I was just standing there, bro. I didn't care who I was blocking, bro. I'm saying if I'm going to see Burna Boy,
shorty behind to pick me up.
Yeah, bro. I was like, nope, you ain't doing that to me.
Any other concert,
yeah, bro. But man, Burna was crazy, bro. I love his new album, African Giant. Bro, it touched a different string in my heart.
Yeah.
Hand on my heart, bro. It touched a different string like that. That album is crazy, man.
I was gonna ask you your favorite song from that album, but I'm thinking myself like I don't even have I can't think.
Dangote.
Okay.
Dangote is one of my favorites because I was actually in Nigeria when that came out. Or not? I'm sorry. I was listening to it right before I went to Nigeria, and I went into Nigeria with that song in my head, and that song was literally just the vibe. This was before the album came out or anything. That was one of the singles he dropped. And that song was crazy. Or Gabona is one of my other favorites, man. On the Low, everyone knows that one. Omo, African Giant, Collateral Damage, Spiritual, bro. The song with YG. All those songs.
Shout out to YG.
Shout out to YG for being on a Burna Boy album.
Yeah.
That really surprised me.
And Future.
Yeah, and Future. That really surprised me, man. I didn't expect to see YG on there, but man, that album is crazy, bro. It was really, really amazing.
And after I went to La Souk with Rob, shout out to Rob, that's all African music. If anybody wants to go, it's
La Souk on Sunday.
Yes,
it's a thing.
La Souk on Sundays. They say brunch Sundays at 5 p.m., but
never mind
brunch. It's not brunch.
Africans, we know they do brunch. We know they do brunch.
But it's definitely a great experience just to see people who value your culture the same way that you do. And I saw a West African Dollar over there, and it was just seeing different people was great. One thing I will say about a lot of black clubs, almost all of them, not enough space. We never have enough.
Because we like to dance.
We move like the most out of anybody. We don't have enough space.
Yeah, bro. It's always hot. It's always hot, man. But we like to dance. That's in our blood, bro. That's what we do.
Yeah.
So it's gonna get hot.
You still gonna dance? People gonna get pushed.
Come on now. There's never been an African party where people are standing around.
Exactly.
Never.
Unless we watching a white person dance, we like,
then you stop. You stop. And if they can dance, oh man, that's when it gets lit.
Exactly. But even in leaving, we left at like 10, 11 or something because we had work and all that stuff. Outside, it was like a sea of people still. I was like, wait, y'all just getting in?
Right.
I've been here since 6, 7. We're trying to get it for free. I've been here since 6, 7, and y'all still here. I was like, damn, this is a vibe. I'm like, we got to come back for this.
Yeah, definitely. We'll link up, bro. We'll definitely go out there, man. Definitely a good time, bro.
And then it was after I met her, and I was like, oh, that'd be dope to do a podcast with her. And then I was like, it'd be dope to do an African-themed podcast because Afrobeats has gotten so big.
Crazy.
With all these artists, Wizkid, Davido, Burna Boy, and Rima, so many more just becoming more and more in tune and a part of, I would say, American culture. Where every single day, without a doubt, if I turn the radio on to Power 105.1, 107, Sirius, not so much. They get to play more of what they want. Fall.
Yeah, man.
Every single time.
Yeah, Davido. Yeah, he took over the
2
way.
a.m.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy.
Chris Brown.
Yeah, you see that now? He's on tour with Chris Brown.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
They have a new song. Chris Brown just put out 12 more tracks. It was just the 45 wasn't enough. With another song with Davido on it, and it's a banger too. That was when I got the idea, and I was like, let's do an African themed podcast, and then we could get like a guest from every country if we can. Mm-hmm. That'd be something cool to try to get one from every country and not repeat. That's a tough one to do. But I would think like once a month. Like and then we get there and we sit down, we get their story because I'm like I said, I met West African doll. Mm-hmm. I met Clifford Owusu. I met him like 3 times. Yeah. One, I was walking home from my internship and I was like, oh, it's Clifford right here. Wow, I said, what's up? What? We like the video. I love the videos. The whole family watched it, of course. That's crazy. Second time was at 760 rooftop. I just saw him and I was waiting for him to dance. He ain't danced. He's probably tired. He probably tired after dancing at home and everything. And third time I was just getting off the train and I see him. I was like, that's crazy. That everywhere. But then I had that idea and I was like, let me link up with Benji and then see if he'd be down with it.
For sure, man. It was great. As soon as you said it, I was like, that's a dope idea.
Thank you, man.
Dope idea.
With the rise of Afrobeats in not only Africa, of course, but in America,
globally too, taking over it,
globally,
Europe as well.
Do you think that one day we could reach a level where it's okay to go outside and just be free, just be I'm African, I'm here, because there's a lot of notions that Africans hate Americans, Americans hate Africans, and it's just like what I'm like I've never personally encountered like Black Americans who hate Africans and African people who hate Americans. Right. I've personally never encountered that. Yeah. So every time I hear it, I'm like, what? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even gonna sit here and lie to you, bro. I remember when it wasn't cool to be African.
Yeah.
And I remember, and it's been in the last maybe 2-3 years. I've seen a shift. Mm-hmm. You get me?
Yeah.
And like I don't have an accent or nothing, bro. But like it's pretty crazy because I grew up speaking English and French at the same time. Mm-hmm. And learning both in school at the same time, so like there's no accent with either language. Mm-hmm. But my parents are extremely African. Mm-hmm. You get me, like on a different level African. And one's East African, one's West African. My dad from Nigeria, my mother from Ethiopia. So I always had different influences in my life. Mm-hmm. So I grew up in Europe. I have East and West Africa in my household, and then I have this American influence through the basketball and like going over there and stuff like that. So it's really all of it, meshed combined, which I found interesting. So I always and growing up in Switzerland, I went to an international school, so I got to see a lot of different cultures, and I got acclimated to a lot of different cultures very young. Yeah. Right? So like the idea of like, how like I guess Black Americans will call Africans like African booty scratcher and nothing like that. Yeah. I've never been called that in my life, and I only knew that through like lyrics and songs. Like somebody would say something, and I was like, oh, I didn't get it. I didn't even know it was inside. I was like, what? I don't know.
Yeah, social media.
Right.
Michael Blackson.
Yeah, Michael Blackson. That dude's crazy. Yes. That man's funny. Yes. But yeah, bro, I think we definitely gonna get there, man. It's been so much more accepted, bro. Now I tell people all the time, like, yeah, I'm half Nigerian, half Ethiopian, and like, it's crazy, like how the reaction has changed. Mm-hmm. It's unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. And like, you see the craziest people that are into Afro beats. Or Afrobeat rather, because Afrobeats is like a specific type of music.
Yes.
But so many people that you wouldn't even expect are into it. And I'm like, what? That's 100%. Crazy. Like, you know David, Burna Boy. Like, I remember I met this one girl from Italy. She knew more Afrobeat music than I did. I was like, what? Like, she was really on it. She knew the dances. She knew the shaku, all of it, bro.
That's how people who
unreal.
When other people first started listening to hip hop, we were probably like, wait, you know this song?
Yeah, man. That's how. And the clothes now it's becoming a huge thing. You get me? Like the shirts and all that. You see them even around Harlem, which is why I love living in Harlem. Got no complaints. I love living in Harlem. I see a lot of Africans, bro, and like also like me personally, I'm a West African. I guess you can't say West African, but I'm like a Nigerian specifically that speaks French, right? You don't see that often because Nigeria is an English-speaking country. Yeah. And there's a lot of French people, the Senegalese, Congo, Benin, Guinea, all these countries speak French. Yep. So I tell people, like I'll start like, man, I can't tell you how many times it happens with my friends. Like if the bouncer will be Senegalese or something, I start chatting them up, or our Uber driver will be, all these people in random different places that are all African, and like I can connect with the people that speak English. I can connect with people that speak French. So it's crazy, man, and I can't wait until we one day get to a point where it's the United Nations of Africa. or United States of Africa rather. Man, that day would be crazy.
It would be that, and that's one of the things because I wanted to. I always have like big goals and aspirations, and one of the people that I look up to is Malcolm X, and how he tried to unify black people in America. Of course, he was in Harlem, lived in Harlem. He has his church, temple, or I don't know the exact term, but it's in Harlem, and there was actually a tour bus going through Harlem. I was like, okay, and they were showing that, but to like what Burna Boy he talks about a lot is trying to unify Africa and being one because it's broken up into so many pieces.
It has been.
This colony had this one. This colony had this one. He
man,
said British,
Italian,
French, and everything, and Dutch even.
South Africa.
That the Boers in South Africa. That's one thing that I'm not afraid to say because I'm Dutch, but I understand my history and I know what they did, and even though I'm not gonna just. Be like, oh, they weren't that bad. No, they were a part of it.
It was crazy.
They were a part of it.
What they did, bro? You kidding me? Yeah, for sure. But it's interesting. Like, another person that talks about this a lot is Jadena.
Yes.
And his album is something I've been stuck on for a while. I've been listening to his album, 85 Africa, like crazy. And he's somebody that I relate to a lot as well because he's got that American as well as the Nigerian side. I think he said he grew up in Nigeria until he was about 6. And he talks a lot about the diaspora, which is basically the black people that were taken from Africa and, implanted in America. And like, how they don't know basically where they're from, Nowadays, if you walk on the street over here and you ask a black person, where are you from? They'll say, all right, Kansas, Missouri, or wherever. Like, nah, bro, like, where are you from in Africa? And they don't know. Yeah. And that's power. And that's something that doesn't happen as often in, like, London, for example.
Yeah.
If you go to a black person in London, most of the time they'll tell you something like, I'm from Nigeria, I'm from Cameroon, I'm from Guinea, I'm from, Burkina Faso, I'm from all these places because they know that. Yeah. And they have that there. So they'll say, I'm a British-born Nigerian, British-born XYZ. So I always find that interesting. Here, you don't have that as much, but I'm happy that narrative's kind of changing. Yeah,
and the conversation's definitely starting to happen. Yeah. And
shout out to Jadena though.
Shout out to him.
That's dope because he pushes it heavy.
He does, and it's great to see. And now at the BET Awards, they have the best international artists and stuff like that. And Burna Boy's mom, she was the one that accepted it, and she said, speech? "Remember." Before you were anything else, you are African.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, okay.
It's the truth.
That's resonated. Yeah. But it's definitely harder for people in the South because they had to deal with slavery. Then that's where it's difficult, really, they really like made them forget. So a lot of in South Carolina, I think that's like the most popular port that they came through or state that they were dropped there. That's what Charlemagne he kept saying that he grew up in Moncks Corner, but South Carolina, that was like a big place where a lot of the slaves were brought to. But a lot of them are from West Africa because the way that the geography and the way that the land and is set up, that the farming that they did was perfect for that condition over there. And they were also brought up through South America, Central America and stuff. Like, we forget that too.
Yeah,
that's another place where like Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and people down there, Haiti, we forget that they're African too. And that's like 100%. That's another conversation. Yeah. Where now we're talking about color. Yeah. Not just where you're from. It's now your color where it's like, no, I'm lighter than you. But then it's like, yeah, but they don't like you either.
It's crazy, right?
And a lot of the music is the same too. I was listening to one.
Everything about them is the same.
I was like, yo, is that the same instrument? I was like, yo, I've heard that instrument before in a lot of music, Cameroonian music and stuff. I was like, that's the same. We're the same. So we have to get to a point, and I feel like now we're starting to get to the point where we will have that conversation, and it will be more acceptable.
It's definitely happening more often, man. Like something people should do is Google Haiti and then Google the Dominican Republic. Just Google it and put it on images and see the pictures that come up. You see Haiti is like destroyed, and the Dominican Republic is all like beaches and stuff. Man, that's the same island. It's the same island. My Haitian brother brought this up to me, man, and it blew my mind. I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is the same.
Niggas been counting me out. I'm counting my bullets. I'm loading my clips. I'm writing down names. I'm making a list. I'm checking it twice and I'm getting them hit. The real ones been dying. The fake ones is lit. The game is off balance. I'm back on my shit. The Bentley is dirty. My sneakers is dirty, but that's how I like it.